Democratic State Representative James Talarico of Austin, thank you so much. So, what did you make of the speech?
Well, a decade ago, Greg Abbott was first elected governor by the people of this state. A decade later, in today's speech, we found out who he really cares about. It's not the people of Texas, it's his billionaire megadonors. Last year, one TikTok billionaire from the East Coast gave Greg Abbott $12 million to pass a private school voucher scam that would defund our neighborhood public schools and help the wealthiest parents in the state. That's exactly what he rolled out in today's speech. And so it sounds like it could have been written by his billionaire megadonors.
But there's a poll that came out recently, last week, that said most Texans support the idea. Low-income families support the idea. So what do you make of that?
Most Texans support the idea of school choice, which I support too. But voucher scams are not school choice. It's the school's choice, because private schools can deny admission to any kid for any reason they want. So how is it choice when the private school has all the power in the equation? How is it choice when a majority of counties in the state of Texas don't have a single private school in them? How is it choice when private schools don't have to provide transportation or special education services? And how is it choice when the voucher doesn't even cover the full cost at most private schools in Texas? If you gave my former students on the west side of San Antonio a $10,000 voucher, there's still no way they could afford a $20,000 a year tuition bill. But the wealthy parent that is sending their kid to a $20,000 a year private school is about to get a $10,000 discount, a $10,000 coupon at our expense. Vouchers are welfare for the wealthy. It's why Republicans and Democrats in the Texas House have historically rejected them.
But this year, the House may very well pass it. The governor thinks he has the votes in the House to do that. So how are you going to fight that?
Well, we don't know for sure. The governor has a habit of declaring victory prematurely. If you remember, in 2023, a week before he lost the voucher fight on the floor, he said he was on the 1 yard line. I remember watching those comments and I wondered, whose 1 yard line is he on? So I want to see the votes before I make any judgments. And I will say the devil's in the details. I'm all for giving more flexibility and more options for parents, but I think most members of the Texas House are against sending our tax dollars to unaccountable private schools for wealthy parents with no strings attached.
Was there anything in the speech that you agreed with?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm ready to work with my Republican colleagues to address water issues in our state. I'm all for career and technical education. In fact, I've worked on bills the governor has signed into law on this issue. So there's lots of areas of agreement, but there is a giant area of disagreement, and that is giving away our limited, precious tax dollars to unaccountable private schools that serve the wealthy few.
Property tax relief?
We need true property tax relief. The governor for a decade has talked about all the property tax relief he's given to Texans, but every Texan watching your program right now can tell you that property taxes are higher than ever, and our schools are closing at a rapid rate, and it's all because Greg Abbott has not adequately funded our neighborhood schools. When you adjust for inflation, this is where Greg Abbott was getting tricky with his numbers, when you adjust for inflation, per student funding is at its lowest level in a decade, and that puts all the pressure on local property taxpayers. So the only way to really solve this problem is for the state government to step up and do its fair share of school funding.
More.
That's right. Not even more. Just getting us back to 2019 levels would take a lot of pressure off our local taxpayers. We've fallen behind where we were at in 2019. So we've just got to catch up. I'm not even talking about more than what we've done in the past.
James Talarico, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.